Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab and not knowing what the white in my pyramids, doing what I do for you. Oh, I got a nice lesson for you today. We in the book of the dead. We got some more information coming that you might be interested in if you try to know thyself. Okay, let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in receiving. We got a good thing going. I appreciate you. Let's rock. Right Thinker's mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life, and that's what it is for me, through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to also obtain the level of spiritual enlightenment, aka, know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers, appreciate you all, know thyself. So my mission is to get you the information that would do just that. All you gotta do is tune in and play your part. Let's go. I asked the question, do you know you? No, it's rhetorical. But if you don't have an answer for yourself or you think you do, don't worry about it. Tune in. I can help you with that. Trust me. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself and to my eye be true. We hit into the next level of Book of the Dead. This lesson is called The Stages of Human Spiritual Evolution and Aspiration. What the what? It means that if you're going to practice right thinking philosophy, there's some things that you have to abide by and things you have to understand, like initiation into an order, like joining any kind of group. There are rules and guidelines that's set forth. I got my concept of what I call it. Oh, the rules and stages of the school of right thinking philosophy. I'd rather have my own school so I can teach this 24/7 to those who want to come and be part of it. Appreciate you, right thinkers who tune in every day for here. So let's do what we do. This lesson is for you. Now, excuse me. In yoga, we're going through the stages of spiritual evolution. And just like in the order, a Masonic order, Eastern Stars, Shita Netta, stages of spiritual evolution. Everybody has a three-phase or stage program. I'm gonna take you through the stages of evolution from their spot. I'm gonna take you through the Shita Netta concept of there, and I'm gonna throw a little Masonic, in there on the side for you to show you that they all mean to gain knowledge of self through degrees and understanding as you go through the phases. Okay, so let me try to walk you through the lessons. So right here. And right thinking philosophy yoga is a spiritual evolution part of, and it's described as follows. These are the rules that right thinkers abide by. If you consider yourself a right thinker, watch this. You have to listen. So listening, reflecting, and meditation. Those are the three phases that you want to master as you get better at spiritual evolution, meaning growing spiritually in knowledge. Excuse me. So, where we at down here? You have all five. I gave you all five categories of the yoga described. I told you about them before. You got yoga of wisdom, that's right thinking philosophy. Yoga of devotion, part of right thinking philosophy. Yoga of devotional love, yoga of meditation, another part of right thinking philosophy. Tantra yoga, I just get a lesson on that one. We know it, we don't practice it. Okay, but then you got my favorite, yoga of selfless, righteous action, selfless service. My right thinking philosophy lessons daily is what I call my selfless service to those who tune in and get the lessons. Okay, moving on. Now the question: it can be found. All these, all this information can be found in what the Ru Per Em Haru. It breaks all that down for you. That's where we're at right now. We're in the Book of the Dead. How about that? We're gonna learn a spiritual aspirant, which is right thinking philosophies. Right think, excuse me, following right thinking philosophy. You're a spiritual aspirant. You are listening to the teachings. You should reflect upon their meaning and then enter into a deep meditation on them. These are the phrases and stages that you go through to learn and master lessons of the philosophy, yoga philosophy, in this terms, right thinking philosophy. In any undertaking you study, this is the format you follow. Watch. Now, it says here, the three stages, what it says, the stages of spiritual evolution. Here's the diagram. Okay. See, they got a little stuff over here for the spiritual evolution. They break down each level. You see on the right upside, you got sheet top nettle. They don't say a whole bunch. They make it real quick, make it clear to you. I'll show you that as we go through it, okay, as I break it down. And I've got a little Masonic information I can throw it on the side, but I have that knowledge also. So, and don't forget, it's always going to be something from my street experience, my other life. So I'm trying to give all to you so that you can understand. Okay, let's go. Now the first one is aspiration. That's anybody who aspiring to be better. That's why you tune into this channel. If you're not an aspirant or you're not aspiring to be better, you got no use for me. Okay, so you aspirants, I'm talking to you right now. Let's go. Aspirations. That's students who are being what? Instructed. I'm instructing you daily on the probationary period. That I don't agree with, but everybody have to be vested, so to speak, checked out. So it's a probationary period that you go through and have not, because you have not experienced inner vision, meaning you have no knowledge of what you're about to get involved in. Spiritual enlightenment. You're ignorant. You're blind or not experienced in what? The higher consciousness, what I'm trying to get you into. So come along, I got you. The important factor at the first level is what? Awakening to what? Your spiritual self. Knowing it's more to you than just you. Okay? Some of us, if we ego driven, we don't care about nothing other than just us. If you're spiritual, you know it's a higher level to go other than this one. So that's why we spiritual beings coming to awaken who we are. And this is what? Becoming conscious of the divine presence where? Within oneself. If you think God is outside you, you need to pay attention. Okay, I'm not going to allow that thought process to enter no further than I can get it. Why? It's wrong. God is inside you. It tells you every time I read, you're going to hear that. And the universe, by having faith that there is what? A spiritual essence where? Beyond the ordinary human understanding. All conscious, all knowing. Everything that goes on in this physical world is not by chance or accident or coincidence. Well thought out, well planned, and everything that you do in your personal life is already orchestrated. You just going through the motions. Okay, let's go. Thinking you got control. Okay, but if you let the ego run you, you're never going to reach your destination of what? Knowing thyself. If that's your goal, your ego got to be checked. So let's go. This is what we're trying to get you to understand. Second level, I'm doing the stages of spiritual evolution on the left-hand side, the first side. Now, the second level, watch this. If you're the apprentice, if you're the mason, you come in as an into the apprentice. That means you come in and give a selfless service. You volunteer your service, what? To learn the craft, to hone your skills from those who know. So you come in to learn, hence into the apprentice. Second level is called striving. We called it craving. Okay. After the first level, you want more. So you're going to strive to do better. Masonic, they tell you craving, so you want more knowledge. Okay, that's the concept. You see where I'm going with this? Hopefully, let me slow down a little bit. I said I'm talking kind of fast. So, all right, here we go. So striving are students who have what? Attained inner vision and have received a glimpse of what? Cosmic consciousness. Some of us call it dreaming. Some of us call it having, that epiphany, that awakening. But once you start to understand that something else is going on at the next level, you're striving. Why? To find out. That's your higher self you're trying to get in touch with. An important factor, watch this, at this level is purgation of the self. What that means? Getting rid of the ego self. I'm giving you a heads up. Watch this. Our self that we identify with is the ego self. The self that we got to find for, we got to work for, that's our highest self. He's there. You just got to work for it. You ain't going to make it easy because the ego going to get in the way. Sorry. Your ego is like Goliath. Understand that. You have to slay him, so to speak. Okay, but watch this. Purgation of the self. That is what? Watch this. What's that mean? It means purification of what? Your mind and your body. How do you do that? Through a spiritual discipline lifestyle that right thinkers live. Why? I answer to a higher power. I adhere to a spiritual discipline to do what's right no matter what. It ain't about how I feel. It ain't about what I want. It's doing the right thing for the right reason. That's what the students who striving is all about. And that's how you purify your heart, by doing the right thing. Knowing and then doing. You can't do what you don't know. So if you're ignorant, that's another ball game. But you as aspirant, watch this. You try to what? Totally surrender to what? Your personal. You surrender. Excuse me. Run back. You as the aspirant, you try to totally surrender what? Your personal identity. Well, that's your ego self, and it says right here. Okay, you surrender your personal identity, or I would say, AKA ego identity. See, and to the divine inner self, which is your higher self, which is what? The universal self of all creation. You see me pointing out? That means he manufactured all of that plus us. So we part of that. That's why I keep pointing out. Okay, understand that. Third level, or the second level in the Sheetot Netta, I did that next. I ain't gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it one side. So, but in the Masonic order, you call it fellowcraft. Enter apprentice, come in free. Fellowcraft, we're gonna give you some tools to work with. Teach you how to use these tools so you can what? Earn a living. You become a craftsman, you're learning. So that's the crafts concept. Moving on. The next level, third level, if you're a spiritual evolution follower, you are at this level considered established. If you're the Mason, Master Mason. Okay? If you're the right thinker, still got some work to do. But that's neither here nor there. All right, here we go. Established students are what? Established students are who have what? Have become identified with who? With or united with who? God, your higher self. Through what and how? Good question. The important factor here at this level is what they call illumination of the intellect. You've been studying, you've been practicing what you've been studying, you've been living your spiritual discipline lifestyle, and now you're starting to shine from the inside out. I tell you, don't try to worry about blocking my shine. Why? This is God's plan, homie. This ain't mine. When you serve God, he'll have you shining from the inside. People will notice the glow. People notice a difference in you. Why? That's God showing himself through people who don't really know, but yeah, you can see something going on. Right thing, because that's how we roll. Okay? Where we at there? Now, watch this. Now that is what? Experience. You only get that from practicing and manifesting for yourself where in your daily life. You don't wait and nope, you practice it and start putting it to use daily. And what it says here, experience and the appreciation of the what? The divine presence doing what? Your reflection and meditation. When you go inside yourself, that's where you need to be going. Go deep. It's a whole bunch of stuff going on in that you might want to find out about yourself. Hence, know thyself. Don't be scared of what you don't know about you. Who gonna know more about you than you? Union with divine self, right there. Becoming one with God. God dwells in the heart of man. He gave man free will. He gave you conscience so that you can learn, understand, and comprehend to what? Know him and yourself are one and the same. Christ did it. Anybody who got knowledge of self became aware of that concept is anointed what? With knowledge of self. I've been giving this lesson for so long, it's getting almost redundant, but it's a fact that you have to gain conscious knowledge of yourself, and you will know you and God are one. Not just what the spirit that's in me is of God. Okay, everybody, that's a gimme. That ain't nothing. You ain't doing nothing, excuse me. But yeah, now, but when you can have that union, that's what meditation is about, to commune with your higher self. That's a beautiful thing. Why? Now you're in spiritual connection with your higher self. It ain't just a belief. It ain't just what somebody told you. It's your own personal experience. Sorry. But I get animated about that. Why? Don't play with God. And if you talk that good God stuff and ain't doing it, that's playing with God. And you have to pay for that. Trust me. He ain't to be played with like that. So all you fakers and perpetrators, when everybody think you know that, when God's saying, don't worry, I got something for you. Don't even worry. Karma, come get this guy. See? So that's my concept. If you're going to serve him in earnest. Give him 100%. Why? The story of Cain and Abel is an example of you will either serve God or serve yourself. One served God 100%. Other did what he wanted to do for God. God don't bless that. God bless the cheerful giver. And give 100% of yourself, he'll give you 2 times more. That's called abundance. He's going to double what you give him. If those who do that know that. Those who don't understand it never did it. Let's go. Get back to my lesson. Wrap this up. So once you have that union with your divine self, you know that self. The divine marriage. Again, marry the heart and mind. The heart-mind coherence. I've been teaching that for the last 5 years. But the divine marriage of what? Of you, the individual, with what? Your universal self, God. That's what you make happen once you master yourself. Self-mastery is becoming one with God, knowing and understanding that, and more importantly, living it. Now let's get over to the she-taught netta. It's a little quicker than that one. A lot of stuff, but hopefully it was informative enough to get an understanding and a grasping of what it is. When you partake in something, you have to learn what governs them, what rules they follow, what bylaws they follow, so you understand what you're part of. I knew every aspect of Masonic rules, rituals. Why? I studied. I'm part of it. I need to know what I'm part of. So I was proficient in the knowledge of what I'm partaking in. And nobody says you can't study. I had some lessons I'm gonna get you out of here. Okay, I keep my blue books. Okay, as a teacher, you need information. That's what I use to teach the book. You need the book. I want to give lessons. I'm gonna use the book. I can get on here and just say a whole bunch of stuff. I ain't that big. I ain't important. So moving on. Let's go. Let's talk about the sheet top netta right quick and wrap it up for you. I got another page to read for you, so we ain't done yet. Hold on. Now, in the sheet top netta aspect, we call the first level, we call them mortals. Mm-hmm. A mortal is somebody who don't know they are immortal. So they're ignorant of who they are. So mortal students who are what? Who are being and going to be instructed what? On a probationary status, but had not experienced any inner visions. Meaning you come into an order, cool, don't know what's going on. My job as the instructor, as I was a Masonic instructor, I would bring you in, take you through the first 1 and 2 levels, prepare you for the 3rd degree. But what happened? Quick lesson. Once they got the 3rd degree, they thought they was masters, themselves. Didn't have a clue about working tools. Didn't have a clue about the concept and perspective of what a master mason is. They just know they're a master mason. They had a grip. They had a word. They good to go. No knowledge of nothing. Again, ignorant. So been there, partook in that for a long time, seen that too. Okay, so right this next one. If you're a right thinker, you're going to be tutored, you're going to be taught, and you're going to be examined. And the phrase of Masonic order, if I see another Mason, I can try him. That means I'm going to go up to you, grab your hand, and ask you some questions. And the phrase is, to prove who I am, I'm willing to be tried. And once I'm tried, never denied, and willing to be tried again. I can prove myself over and over again. If you claim to be who you are, you know who you are, you can make that point known. So as a traveling man, that was part of the code of honor, okay, of the badge of honor. Really having knowledge of what you claim to be a craftsman of. If you're a mason, you should be a master of Masonic knowledge. A lot of them are. Moving on. But right thinkers, you should master yourself. So however you structure that, that's all up to you. Moving on. Now the second level gets a little more intense. Like I said, the striving. Second level, we call you fellow crafts. You part of the craftsman now. You ain't a new jack. You ain't an apprentice. You done proved yourself or showed yourself suitable proficiency to move to the next level. I won't give you that second degree if you haven't passed the first. I didn't give nothing away. Okay, I made you earn it. Okay, because that's how I got mine. So I didn't give nobody a break. Moving on. Last one. Okay, second degree. Watch this. That's the student who had what? Who had attained inner vision and had received a glimpse of cosmic consciousness. Meaning you think you're in the right place. You got it grips. Now let's see if I can manifest for myself what they say. If I can make it work for me. That's the true practice of any instructional philosophy. The person who instituted it may work for you, but can other people practice it and it work for them? That's right thing of philosophy right there. You practice what I teach you, it'll work for you too. That's the kicker. And at the third level, when you become a master or you self-mastery of right thing of philosophy, you're a master of self. You're called a creator or what? A being of light. Meaning you're shining from the inside. See, the God's light from the inside. People see it in your character. People see it in the way you conduct yourself. My blissed out sisters, I can just tell by the way they conduct themselves, the way they carry themselves. It's a whole different air. Okay? And those people, you just got to respect and admire. Why? Because they put the work in to reach that level. It didn't just happen by accident. Trust me. Moving on, let me wrap this up. Sorry, but watch this. The third level, mastery of self, or being a light. That's students who what? Who had become identified with or have united with the light, aka God. Becoming enlightened, knowing thyself, all that plays a role. Okay, in the self-mastery game, you have to get knowledge. You have to implement and manifest the knowledge for yourself so that now you're not a believer, you're a knower. Gnostic means to know. Let me wrap this up. And I just told you the 3 steps of spiritual practice starts with the myth, the story, then the ritual, you practice the mystical philosophy. And then you have the what? Experience. That's the kicker that a lot of Masons, same thing. Get 2 degrees and don't get the third. That means you waste your time. If you're not going to implement every aspect and every phase of what you're supposed to learn, it's not going to work. So watch this. Now, with complete practice of religion done right, follow the formats described above closely. And what happened? Many students of our ancient Egyptian religion have focused on the religious stories of ancient Egypt as mystical fables or superstitious rantings from a what? Long lost civilization. I done dealt with some Christians who feel that way because they don't understand. Well, y'all did this, y'all did that, going by hearsay and not really taking time to find out and understand when their whole basis of what they studying, they claim to be, come from there. So let's move on. That's being ignorant of what's really going on. But now watch this. In the Egyptian yoga book series, we're going through that, we successfully what? Show and tell how the teachings of right thinking philosophy, mystical spirituality were certainly, were carefully woven where into and throughout ancient Egyptian mythology and ancient Egyptian religion centers where around the understanding that every human being has an you ready an immortal soul and a mortal body. Hello, yin and yang, they go together. The spirit, the soul needs a body, so they go together. The body had to get back to becoming spiritual so it could enlighten and go back home from whence it's come. This simple to me. Maybe it's just simple to you, but I get the concept. But watch this. And further, it holds that creation and the human soul have the same origin. What that mean? The same thing that created everything out there, I keep telling you, is inside you. That's God. All conscious, all knowing, omnipresent. That guy that y'all get the title to and all that. That's who's inside you. He ain't out there. He's part of creation. He put it there, but he's also inside his creation, which is us. Moving on. How can this monumentous teaching be proven? And its reality experience. Glad you asked. This is the task of all right thinkers in the mystical spirituality, which they call religion, in its three phases. And when it's done correct and practiced right, it's a yoga discipline that will get you connected to your higher self, aka God, through your own doings. Okay? All right, 1 second, Mom. I'll call you back. Wrapping it up. Where we at? I can't do it. Excuse me. All right. So thus, watch this. It is evident, sorry, Mom, that the Per M. Haru utilizes what? The universal principles of Maya, of mystical spirituality and mystical religion as a way of life to get you to God. Each individual, across the board. The Per M. Haru lays heavy emphasis on what? On ritual. Why? Because it's important, because it makes a stand in the brain. I understand the purpose of rituals. Trust me, I ain't big on them, but I understand them. But you have ritual, then you have spiritual wisdom. I prefer that. Study, practice. Okay. And you have the mystical union with the divine. That's the meditative part that you need to take stock in for yourself, because that's the connection right there. Do meditating. One more subheading may be added to that is what? Mythology. Learning and understanding the stories. Why? Because the spiritual wisdom is to be studied, and it's in the studying, and a deeply reflected upon, and this will lead you to what? You ready? Spiritual transformation of your personality from egoistic to Haru like, godly. Lower, higher. We live on the lower. We need to get higher. Okay, I gotta get storage room. Okay, I gotta cut it short. I got about to get shut down for my space. I gotta make some room. So right now, where we at? Now, in this process, constitutes what? The journey, the psycho-spiritual journey that a spiritual aspirant, right, thinkers must follow what? In order to go from mortality, human, to what? Immortality, spiritual. However, there you go, my however's in there. In ancient times, the first level of religion, aka the myth, was well known by what? All people in ancient Egyptian society. That wasn't the big deal. Everybody know about that. We all do now. Same thing. Everybody know. Yeah. So the first yogic step of listening to the teachings, or the first step of religion, learning what? The myth, was more part of the socialization of the culture. Everybody talks about it. So if you want to be in, you need to know about it. A person would learn it as they were growing up again, and would not require any introduction, such as it has been presented in the first part of this book. So therefore, their their practice would be more advanced than a present day aspirant. Why? They had already lived the concept from the first level. They got that covered. And they would go right into what? The practice of the rituals. There you go. And begin to what? Learn the mystical implications of these as they what? They relate to the myth of Asar from Egyptian concept. It would be Jesus Christ as a Christian, Aset and Haru, Mary and God. Same concept. But watch this, which they what? Already knew so well. We all know the story. Thus, we will combine the universal principles of Maya, mystical spirituality, and the mystical religion, and arrange this volume in accordance with the following criteria. First, part one, I would treat the following subjects: person, presentation of the myths upon which the Per M. Haru is based on. I'm going to gloss on the myth. I'm going to gloss on the philosophy behind the myth. And the Per M. Haru Part 2 will be presented. I'll present the translated scripture. We have to get into that of Per M. Haru as follows. You have an awakening, you have wisdom and ritual, and that brings on what? Transformation and affirmations for the reflection and the advancement of your mystical union, becoming one with your higher self. That's the lesson. I'll be back with more. You already know. In closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100 and be 100 minus a day. So I never know nice right thinkers like you have passed away. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'm out.